It's the NBA on 2K Sports. I'm Kevin Harlan, joined by the talented analyst tandem of Greg Anthony and...
Niggas, you all right. We don't give a fuck about splitting your wrist. All that time of depression when a nigga like me got here late, that I spent all that time of corrections. We ain't got the same stress. We ain't got the same stress. And I watch you get sacked on tape. I don't care about your rounds for tape deck. But back to this nigga. It ain't harming no nigga. Till I die with Harlem regardless. And we stay on with them blinkers. I think it's time we start bombing on niggas. In your bitch box, ragging her. Marvin Hagler. She say I'm marvelous, nigga. See, I said, and your bitch ragging her. Marvin Hagler. She say I'm marvelous, nigga, but hold up. We out to this nigga crib be talking pounds. Creeping his crib like Smack trying to control the crowd. Hold it down. Hold it down. Hold it down. Put them nods in his face. Let him see those beams. See nods everywhere. Think we bring it back Gino Green. Time, yo. Time. Yeah.
But an easily avoidable accident transformed my KFC biscuits into my most delicious creation yet. New KFC Cinnabon dessert biscuits, free with a 10-piece meal.
At Safelite Auto Glass, we know sooner or later, every chip will crack. This daughter was home visiting when mom saw a chip in her windshield.
Is that a chip?
They wanted it fixed fast, so they brought it to us.
Hi.
With our in-shop chip repair service, we can fix it the same day, guaranteed. Plus, with most insurance, a Safelite chip repair is no cost to you.
Our relationship, and you know what? We don't.
Mine? Why?
It's just that it's
Lavender? Yes, it is. It's for men.
I like smelling.
I should not text you like, oh, what I needed is come check you. You should be like, what I needed is come too. You know what I mean? And if I don't agree to her,
They defend their title on the world's biggest stage.
I'm so old that
And made it repeat. Lead the U.S. women's national team in the send-off series. USA South Africa. Sunday at 4:30 Eastern on Fox. Sponsored by Volkswagen. The presenting partner of U.S. Soccer. Swift carriage holds Tennessee's titles against top contender Julian J. Williams. It's a super welterweight title fight. Heard versus Williams. Saturday at 8 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
On the verge of his second title. Johnson.
Now watch this. Sports coming in one after another. Now comes the decisive shot. The U.S. Open begins June 13th. All part of the USGA Championships on Fox and FS1. Presented by Rolex.
The phenom, Chase Elliott. He's locked, loaded, and ready to strike. He may be the heir to the throne. Push coming from Elliott. And this phenom is climbing the ranks of NASCAR's elite.
Chase Elliott is a day he'll never forget.
One race at a time. Monster Energy Cup Series racing through Kansas, Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
Cleveland, man, we play to win championships. That's the end goal.
Frankie Lindor, he's one of those generational talents that will be a first ballot Hall of Famer one of these days.
His personality is one that you want to gravitate around.
Chris Davis is a guy that nobody talks about. What makes him so special?
He knows what he is. He'll drive in 20 home runs, 25 home runs, and get big hits for it.
They got some Gold Glove winners at the corners, too. You don't want to play that? You don't want to play that?
Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
When Justin Simmons, Todd Furman, Clay Travis, and Rachel Bonnetta get together, all bets are on. Lock It In is the all-new one-of-a-kind sports gambling show, weekdays at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
Today is Foster Care Awareness Day, and Fox Sports Supports has partnered with the Ticket to Dream Foundation to help foster kids just be kids. This means creating opportunities for children that allow them to discover their strengths and passion through sports, while also strengthening their future through education. To learn more about it and how you can help foster a child in your community, visit tickettodream.org.
Joy Taylor joining me today. It's The Herd. Doug Gottlieb's around the corner. I always feel like you have to be careful what you wish for. I've been saying this for years about March Madness. Everybody's always like, I'm rooting for the upset. I don't want Kentucky to win. I want Kansas and Duke to lose. Oh, good. So you want VCU and Butler in the Final Four. We had that once. Nobody watched. I hear this all the time in baseball. Guys root for a no-hitter. Oh, really? Just what baseball needs. Fewer base runners, less hits, less action. Yeah, nothing like baseball being even less fascinating. I hear this all the time about renters who want to buy a house. Be careful what you wish for. Honey, the sink is backed up is no longer somebody else's problem. Movies on demand. I want things on my terms. Really? I've got 13 streaming services now, 142 passwords. I have files in a dresser drawer of passwords. Can't Hulu just buy everybody and I can go to them? So you're telling me you're all rooting against the dynasty, Golden State. You sure about that?
I ain't talking no shit.
You want the Houston Rockets to be the team of record of the NBA. Are you sure about that? A soccer team of floppers. James Harden should change his name to Floppy McFlopster. International soccer teams watch the Rockets and say, enough already. This is a team built on iso ball, free throws, and flopping. If the Houston Rockets were a sound, this is what they would be. That's what you're looking for. That's what you want. Houston shot 50 triples last night. In the series, they've already shot 55 more than Golden State, who I thought invented that style of play. I mean, not all dynasties and champions are fascinating. Michael Jordan's Bulls were fascinating. Showtime Lakers were fascinating. Tim Duncan Spurs, not that fascinating. I do not want I like Daryl Morey. I love Chris Paul. I've come to terms with what James Harden is. But you all want the Warriors to sit and watch the finals. Okay, remember, if the Rockets were a sound, we all know what the sound would be. Good luck with that. Here's Joy with the news.
Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
So after Monty Williams decided to be the next coach of the Suns, Ty Lue has emerged as the frontrunner to take the Lakers gig. And if Lue is hired, he should obviously be reunited with LeBron. And according to Frank Isola, LeBron and Lue are already thinking beyond the hire. The reports, this is according to Frank Isola, the reports of Lue wanting to add his former colleague in Boston, Tom Thibodeau, to his coaching staff are true. LeBron, through intermediaries, has let it be known that Thibodeau would be a huge asset to have on the bench. LeBron's close associates were gauging Thibodeau's interest in becoming a top assistant 2 weeks ago. It is in the best interest of the Lakers to listen to LeBron, and it is in LeBron's best interest to make sure his voice is heard. So LeBron is reportedly still involved in some of the bigger team decisions. Obviously, Ty Lue is LeBron's guy, so that's like the first step. Thibodeau is kind of an odd pairing with Ty Lue because Ty Lue's very much a player's coach, and Thibodeau has a reputation of grinding people to their...
Is it possible, though, Joy, that Tibbs is a great two? He was never built to be a one. Because in Boston, he was a great two.
Well, I don't think Thibodeau's a bad coach. No. I just think that his reputation is actually able to balance between, personal life and rest and just a reasonable amount of, how long you should work, during a work week. So maybe it's a good good,
he's a basketball
balance to Ty Lue, and
Yeah, I don't.
good
But I don't think that's. I mean, Belichick's best assistants, Josh McDaniels, who's young and brash and cocky, and Belichick's old and surly and a defensive guy. I think sometimes realizing what you're not and hiring what you're not is it's like couples. If my wife can literally go under the hood of a car and fix anything, and I struggle making a salad. Like she is the perfect compliment. I think Tibbs.
You should get someone who compliments you.
Yeah, I think Tibbs compliments Ty Lue. I think it's a pretty good choice.
Yeah, I mean, well, it seems like it's a good choice because it's what LeBron wants, and you should be putting all of your effort into putting whatever LeBron needs around him to be successful. I know that Lakers fans don't want to hear that.
But you know what? It's funny. I've pushed back on that notion and give LeBron everything. But over the last 3 weeks, on all the stories I hear about the Lakers, I'm at the point now where I'd rather have LeBron running the show.
A, absolutely. And B, you chose to give LeBron the franchise when you signed him to a 4-year deal. Like, you brought LeBron here. You know what he comes with. Why would you not want to put everything around him that makes him comfortable? Hello? Cleveland won a championship. Cleveland.
Well, but LeBron was in his prime mostly in Cleveland.
Okay, but it wasn't that long ago. Like, you still need to put pieces around LeBron to make him successful. Even if that piece that you get has surpassed LeBron in talent or prime at this point. So Clint Capella played only 21 minutes last night, and the Rockets have been playing significant minutes without a center. So with the Rockets going small, P.J. Tucker is the tallest player of that group at 6'6". But Tucker, Harden, Paul, and Gordon have a similar build to them.
Yes.
And the Warriors have had issues moving them around.
Yep.
And they've haven't been able to take advantage of the lack of rim protection. So here's what Steve Kerr had to say about it.
They got a lot of middle linebackers on that team. They're sturdy, and we look like we're like volleyball players, long and lean. We've done this many times before, and we've played all kinds of different teams, and everybody tries to be physical with us, because they should. That's the best way to try to beat us. And so Houston's very physical. They're very good, but I'll go back to it again. We know what we have to do.
By the way, P.J. Tucker is really, there's no question, he's a little kryptonite. He's really tough for them to match up with.
Earl and I were talking about this very thing last night. It's even just watching the Rockets, and it's strange because, coming into the series, the whole conversation was about the refs, and you were just talking about, like, the flopping, and I think that's more on James Harden and Chris Paul, because the rest of the Rockets are really not built like that. And this is the formula, like Steve Kerr said. So I don't know why they wouldn't come into this series just playing bully ball.
Well, I think at home you're going to get some of those calls. I always take the Utah Jazz. When the Jazz had that great team that never won, they got the calls at home. They were very chippy, and then they go on the road. The fans are right on top of the refs in the NBA and college basketball. It's one of those things where you do tend to get the physical call at home and not on the road, and that's why Utah was always great at home, and even as good as they were so-so on the road. I think Houston is built, the only team in this league that is really built to beat Golden State. Right. No, not saying they will, but Houston's built to beat them.
Right, and they should continue with this formula, even if it is on the road, because you're not going to out-finesse, you're not going to out-volleyball the Golden State Warriors. And finally, there are no two franchises in the NFL that have differing success in recent years than the Browns and the Patriots. The Patriots have won 6 Super Bowls since 1999. The Browns have made 1 playoff appearance in that time. But Odell made a bold prediction at the Met Gala last night about Baker Mayfield and the Browns' future. He said, I would say he's next, but I feel like he's now. He's Brett Favre. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I plan on being there for the next 5 years and trying to bring as many championships there as possible, turning the Browns into the new Patriots.
Okay. The Patriots have had 18 straight winning seasons. The Browns have had 11 straight losing seasons. Am I being negative? Can we scale back a little on this?
I don't think that you're being negative. I think that you're being very realistic. Now, we are both excited about watching the Browns this year with Odell and Baker and Jarvis.
That's fun.
It's going to be very interesting. We were excited about them last year. I am no longer actively rooting against the Browns, which I feel like is a personal step in progression and growth as a human, being from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because I could just crush them all the time with very much ease.
And you don't.
Right. I choose not to. Because I am genuinely interested, and I do want this style of play to work because Baker Mayfield is exciting to watch. However, yes, calm down. There's no reputation here. There's just none. You finished in 3rd place in your division last year. There's Just calm down.
For the record.
There's nothing wrong with aiming high, but appreciate the process. That's what I don't like with the Browns. There's no process here.
Like, I understand that teams that I like, the Patriots and the Colts, are not fascinating television. They're almost boring in their repetition and their accuracy. I can admit the Browns may very well be the best TV product in the league right now. That I will not deny. I told you this last year. And Cleveland will be better this year than last year. They have better players. I watched a ton of Browns football last year. I watched all 16 games. So, dynamic, yes. New England, let's scale back a tad. I'm just a little bit pulled out. Just a tiny bit.
I get what he's saying. You want to aim high, but just appreciate the process of growth and establishing a culture.
If I have a good hair day, I don't say, you know what, I'm going to be George Clooney for the next 15 years. I just had a good hair day.
Yes, it would be an exaggeration.
Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Live.
Last night was one of those great NBA nights. I bring in my friend, the Doug Gottlieb, got a show on Fox Sports Radio right after our show. All sorts of stuff to talk about. I'm so disillusioned with the Celtics. But let's start with the big game of the night, the main event, not the undercard. Let's start with the Warriors and Houston. And I think we both would admit Steph Curry somewhat revolutionized basketball. We don't have back-to-the-basket centers. It's fascinating. He really matters in the history of the sport. There are those of people, I think you're one of those, that you kind of tend to believe that he maybe not, what separates him from the MJ and the Kobes, maybe he's not perfectly built for the postseason?
Correct. Like, look, what people will do is they'll troll me on the internet and say, well, when Steph Curry came out, you didn't think he would be better than, Ricky Rubio, so you're hating on him now. Like, no, the guy's a two-time MVP, the first ever unanimous MVP. He's a first-ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes.
And what he's revolutionized is what used to be seen as bad shots because they were such low percentage shots. He suddenly makes at a clip where guys used to make only when they're wide open. He shoots going right, he shoots going left, catch and shoot.
Everything.
I mean, he's ridiculous.
Yes.
Ridiculous. But it was helped, much like James Harden and LeBron James have been helped by the change in the officiating as well as the change in the style.
Yeah.
The officiating change went from regular season to postseason hurts him. It just does, just like it hurts James Harden.
Yes.
And on my radio show yesterday, I compared it to Peyton Manning. Remember, Peyton Manning is statistically the most dominant regular season quarterback we have ever seen. Ever. Okay? He's one game above 500 as a postseason quarterback.
Right.
And why is that? Is he a choker? Like, no, I think it's because in the playoffs, the New England Patriots, the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl are allowed to be a lot more physical. And that would throw off their timing routes. Same thing with Steph Curry. They make him guard more, they game plan more, gang up on him, and they're far more physical against him. And some of the N1s that he gets in the regular season he didn't get last night, the bumping and the banging, the hanging on him, and the grappling, that wears him down. And it's one of the reasons that you can look at the last 5 years. And how many times? Well, Steph's still hurt. Steph, the 73-win season when they lost in the finals, Steph's worn down. He's worn down by the 70. Then it was his ankle. We're like always trying to, or it's harder in the playoffs. A guy that's slightly built, that they engage him defensively every time, and they're super hyper physical with him when he's on offense every possession.
Yeah, I don't see this as anything drastic. I believe this is true with a lot of athletes. That the postseason tends to be in all sports. Hockey, they swallow the whistles.
Yes.
So a physical hockey player that can take more of a beating, Mark Messier, is maybe built for the postseason.
I can't believe I have no idea.
But Mark Messier was a
physical.
Well, he was a badass. He was a tough guy.
No, I know he won with the Rangers.
But I mean,
that's about all. And then he was on Gretzky's Oilers. But I have no idea if he was a physical player. I'm going to go okay, but I have no idea.
But there are guys that are built regular post. I don't think it's a crazy thought by you. Now, I will say this, and you included Harden in this. This morning I wake up. If I'm Golden State and I'm like, Clay was awful, Iggy was terrible, our bench isn't good, it was awful, Steph disappeared, we shot 24% on threes.
And still had one wide open look to tie the game. And by the way, James Harden missed a free throw that could have iced the game, and nobody seems to mention it. I thought P.J. Tucker was amazing last night, by the way. And all the tip outs he doesn't get credit for, and the physicality defensively, setting the tone. And look, the Rockets are annoying. We don't like you. No one likes you. And for good reason. This is not a we don't like the city of Houston. We don't care enough about the city of Houston not like it. We don't like ISO ball and the over dribbling. We don't like the flopping. They're a little bit like, this is what it's like to play against a European basketball team, where they're the ones that's actually a little bit dirty and with the cheap shots, and yet they're acting like they're always getting fouled. I'm like, with me? No.
You played over there.
Right, like Chris Paul, who I used to love, has suddenly become that guy. You're like, oh. Then they got Austin Rivers. Like, Austin Rivers is so unlikable, his own dad traded him. Who did that? Right? So, and then, they shoot so many threes. They complain about every call. On the other hand, last night, I thought they won that game because they were the tougher team.
I agree.
And Draymond pointed it out. And in spite of all that, as you point out, Steph's percentage was low. They had a wide open three from their best player at the top of the key, and he missed it. And then Steph got a pretty good look as well. They could have tied it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I sat there for 3.5 hours, and I felt like, and this is not saying the officials. Sometimes the officials, I went to a boxing match Saturday. Sometimes they'll let clutching and grabbing. Sometimes they won't. Advantage, disadvantage. And Tyson liked to get in there and grab. If a ref didn't allow it, Tyson wasn't the same fighter. Last night the ref said, we're going to let you muck it up. You can bang on KD. The refs let a little more physical play, and it benefited Houston.
Yeah. I mean, look, the free throws are even. There's this weird stretch in the third quarter where there's 4 fouls called a row on the Rockets. To just even it out in terms of the numbers. But generally, yes, on the offensive boards, it's no holds barred. There's no pushing the back. It's whoever wants it more.
Yeah.
PJ Tucker just wanted it more.
Yeah.
Both teams played small ball, and as you point out, the difference in 1 and 2 is Iguodala. Livingston was missed a wide open layup last night. If they don't get contributions from those guys, then all of a sudden it becomes, you better hope that Clay starts making shots. Look, I still think that Golden State, it controls their own destiny, has a great shot to win this series.
Yes.
But you're one turned ankle away. You're one awful shooting day from Kevin Durant away from getting run out of the playoffs and ending this run.
Don't remember this. Michael Jordan, the last team he couldn't get through was Detroit. Detroit had Isaiah.
That's who this team is. That's who.
Houston is Detroit.
Houston Rockets are Detroit.
Yes.
Right?
And they beat the Bulls for a lot of years.
They did. And they were physical, and they had one guy who would get them buckets at the end of a shot clock, and Isaiah Thomas. They had another guy like an Eric Gordon and a Joe Dumars.
Yep.
And then they were just physical and tougher, and they pushed around MJ. They challenged him, knocked him on the floor every time he drove, which is exactly that. That's really kind of the game plan of how you're playing against the Golden State Warriors.
When you play a more skilled team, you need some skill, but make the game ugly. And if you can make it ugly, Pistons did with MJ until they just got a little too old, and Michael got a little more help, and then it changed. Okay, stick around. We got a ton of good stuff. I want to talk about Boston. I'm depressed this morning. Not because Milwaukee won, but the Celtics, I don't know where they go, and he and I disagree on Kawhi Leonard. All good stuff. Stick around, coming back. Running a small business is a ton of work, and it's complicated. And generally speaking, the business you're running is your field of expertise. That's what you know. But are you an attorney? Most of the time, the guy running a business is not. LegalZoom, 2 million Americans have used them to start their businesses. LLCs, incorporations, tax laws, they're always changing. Lease agreements, contract reviews. Pay attention and stay focused on what you are great at. And unless you're an attorney, and even if you are, that's where LegalZoom can help you. They have a business legal plan. They have vetted independent attorneys and tax pros available in all 50 states. Best part is, you don't get charged by the hour, because LegalZoom never has been a law firm. Make your money and time work for you. Stay focused on what you know. LegalZoom takes care of the rest. Where life meets legal. LegalZoom.com, enter Colin at checkout. That's Colin, C-O-L-I-N.
I'm going to start with some balayage clippings, then raise a cut up to blunt angled lock. I'm retiring to my swan song.
He's going to slap some clips in your hair, give you a bob, and then he's going to move to Boca Raton.
There are hospitals on the table. One is cash, 3 are FHA, one is VA. So what can you do?
She's saying a whole lot of people want to buy this house. Did you get this? It can be as simple as push button get mortgage. Rob your mortgage by Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender.
We're Jack Daniels. The Mellowest. Liveliest. Whiskiest of whiskey. Lynchburg, Tennessee. Nutro.
special flavors. All the energy dogs need and nothing they don't. Nutro. Be clean.
You wouldn't accept an incomplete job from anyone else. Why accept it from your allergy pills? Flonase Sensimist relieves all your worst symptoms, including nasal congestion, which most pills don't. And all from a gentle mist you can barely feel. Flonase Sensimist.
The 2 for $5 mix and match deal from McDonald's is back. Choose from some of your all-time favorites. It's time to celebrate because 2 for $5 mix and match is back.
Huge mistake.
Kevin, are they?
Choose Mobil 1 Synthetic instead. It protects engines better than conventional motor oil.
Yeah, you would say that if you were in the logo.
How about now?
Get 250,000 miles of protection. Upgrade to Mobil 1.
Incomparable design makes it beautiful. State-of-the-art technology makes it brilliant. The visionary Lexus NX.
Lease the 2019 NX300 for $359 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing to a Lexus dealer.
Beautiful, isn't it? Just wait till you get to the register. Introducing new lower prices on produce.
It's Cedar Plank Seafood Time at Red Lobster, featuring 3 new dishes that are planked to perfection. Feast on new Cedar Plank lobster and shrimp, or new colossal shrimp and salmon with a citrusy drizzle. Tender, smoky, and together on one plate. But not for long, so hurry in.
Hey, who are you? Hey, chap, I'm a car thief. What? I'm here to steal your car because, well, that's my job. What? 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 It happens. And you got cut-rate car insurance? Paying for this could feel like getting robbed twice. So get all state. And be better protected from mayhem. Like me. Chase Elliott is climbing the ranks of NASCAR's elite, one race at a time. Monster Energy Series racing from Kansas, Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on FS1. How does...
And I don't even be trying to be funny. It don't even be no payback shit, bro. It's just like... I've been talking to shit for a couple of months. Lockhart, her brother. It's Lockhart. Glasses and shit. Yeah. Screw plugged me in with her. I didn't even know she used to fuck with Screw. You know what I'm saying? Screw, that's a Screw. Like, that's another thing. I know it.
What's up with it? Is he out here?
He out here.
Lindor, he's one of those generational talents.
His personality is one that you want to gravitate around.
Chris Davis is a guy that nobody talks about.
He'll drive in 45 home runs and get big hits for you.
You don't want to play that.
It was love at first slice. Pizza lovers everywhere. We Oh That's Good frozen pizza. 1/3 of our classic crust is made with cauliflower. But that's not stopping anyone. Oh, that's good.
There's nothing small about your business. That's why with Dell Small Business Technology Advisors, you'll get tailored product solutions, expert tech advice, and a one-on-one partnership. Call an advisor today at 877-BUY-DELL. Get up to 45% off on select computers.
This is Bai. On one hand, it's healthy, but on the other hand, it's delicious. Healthy, delicious. Healthy, delicious. Healthy, delicious. I like that. Bai. Great flavor and good for you. A taste of both worlds. Hey.
If you got a big, let me search it.
Fox Sports 1 is your destination for the day's best sports shows. Tune in for the biggest personalities on the biggest stories, and don't miss us on The Herd weekdays at 12 Eastern. Catch it all right here Monday through Friday on FS1.
Doug Gottlieb does not like ice cream. Little inside the rope stuff. Only person I've ever known. I can't eat anymore because I'm old and I have something wrong with my stomach. It really changed my life. Not as happy today as I used to be. Used to eat ice cream all day long.
What do you mean? You're like lactose intolerant? Because there's other kinds of ice cream. I never think to myself like, ooh, ice cream sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of wasted calories. Yeah.
Yes. I'm appetizers over desserts.
It's the worst take out of both of you by far. I don't eat ice cream every night, but like, who doesn't enjoy ice cream?
Well, Joy, not all my takes are solid. That's just one of my bad takes.
That's not really a take, though. I didn't say ice cream is bad.
I just don't like it.
Enjoy it. Like a take is like, ice cream is bad, and here's why. Bam, bam, bam.
Exactly.
Nick Wright with stats coming at. Let me tell you, Gottlieb, you're so wrong about ice cream. Look at this statistical analysis of why ice cream is more amazing now than it ever was. And when LeBron eats ice cream, it's unbelievable.
Right. You just don't like ice cream.
But Kawhi eating ice cream, nobody gets better.
So let's talk about Kyrie. Okay, let's talk about Kyrie. Okay, there's a lot of stats, and I don't want to be analytics guy, but there's a lot of efficiency numbers, winning percentage, assist ratio. They just drop when Kyrie's on the floor with Boston. And we know that basketball is a team sport, and there are some superstars that are unbelievable isolation players. Kobe could be one of the best of all time. Kevin Durant's the ultimate get-a-bucket guy, but the Warriors have a losing record on his best nights. What do you make of Kyrie? Where do you go from Europe? You're Boston.
I think you have to. I heard today on our former network, Jalen Rose say, hey, this used to be a pace and space team. When, Jalen? When? It was never a pace and space team. That just didn't happen. Okay? Isaiah Thomas used to do the exact same thing that Kyrie is doing, which is end of the shot clock, go off the ball screen, get a mismatch, and go. And you know what they're struggling with? It's just not mismatches against Milwaukee. Right. Hey, newsflash, Milwaukee was the best defensive team in the NBA in the regular season, and the best defensive team in the NBA in the postseason.
I want to throw this at you. I told the guys this morning, I said, if the Celtics were playing the Sixers now, good matchup. If they're playing the Raptors, better matchup. Are we over-dramatizing last night simply because Milwaukee's a terrible matchup for Boston?
Not just that, but the East is completely different than last year.
Right.
People want to say, well, it's the Sixers. The Sixers had Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris, and however flawed Ben Simmons' game is, and however sick Joel Embiid is, they're a year older, they're a year better. True. Right? The Milwaukee Bucks have put a better roster around Giannis, and he's gotten better as well. Yeah. They're a far better team, far more refined team, and a better coach team as Bud has had more time to integrate his system.
Milwaukee's a better team.
Okay, well, Toronto Raptors are a better team they were last year. And, oh, yeah, by the way, the Celtics didn't have to play Toronto last year. They only had to play Boston, who didn't have Kyrie Irving, and limped their way into Boston. And the game went 7 games. Look, you can tell me that these Celtics are great. They're not. The Celtics won the trade for Markelle Fultz. Yeah. But Jason Tatum is not a superstar that everybody wants him to be. Not yet, and maybe not ever. He's a really, really good player. Yeah. He's in his second year in the NBA. He's in his third year out of high school. He's just a good player who has flaws. Yeah. Do I think Kyrie's playing great? No. I think he does have a tendency to be selfish. He does have a tendency to pout. He doesn't get back defensively at times, but he doesn't get what he wants on the offensive end. Yeah. But he's far and away your best player, and I think the surrounding talent with the Celtics is overrated. I think Brad, as much of a genius and a friend of mine as he is, I think he's had a tough time relating to this team and the social kind of inner workings with them. Yeah. And I think the Milwaukee Bucks are really freaking good. That the regular season showed us what they could be, and they've played that exact same way here in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I knew this morning coming in, I thought, don't ignore the reality is Milwaukee makes Boston earn every bucket. It's hard. They're deep. They have a great bench. Giannis is a rim protector. They've got other bigs. Listen, Milwaukee, I thought this morning, if Boston just ends up a 3, not a 4 seed, and you look at them and they don't have to face Milwaukee, we think this whole Kyrie thing is fine. But if they lose to Milwaukee in the East, we're like, well, Milwaukee's great. Maybe we should acknowledge sooner Milwaukee's great. Now, I want to go to something yesterday I said that, and people freak out about stuff, but I've been pretty good. I bailed on Westbrook before everybody else. I bailed on Melo, Derrick Rose, Blake Griffin. I know Kawhi's great. I think he's the best, second best guy in the league at go get a bucket. KD's the best. Just go get a bucket. Kobe Bryant was the best ever.
James Harden's in that conversation. But then both of them and Giannis play the other end of the floor where Harden's not.
Kawhi's a great defensive player. I'm not denying that Kawhi's great. You can make an argument he's the second best player in the world. But Toronto was 17-5 without him. He does not pass. His usage rate, Greg Popovich acknowledged. My advice to him is when I call a play for you, I'm calling it for the team. He doesn't communicate. He's not tied in a string. And there's times with Kawhi I'm like, yes, he's great, but does he make people better?
Yes.
Does he?
This is a team that
3 assists.
Look, again, if we're going to go by stats, if you're going to do the Nick Wright thing where you fall on stats, then Russell Westbrook is the greatest NBA player we've ever seen.
I don't want to hear that.
No, I'm just saying, no player since Oscar Robertson has ever averaged a triple-double in the entire season. Yeah. He's done it 3 consecutive years. Nobody's ever done that. Yeah. So if we're going to go by stats, then he's the greatest ever. And if we go and do stats even in the playoffs now, we're like, wow, all these guys are putting up historic statistical numbers. Why? Because of usage, and there's no big guys, no power forwards. It's a different sport.
hand check.
Look, he plays both ends. He's embarrassed Ben Simmons in the series by guarding him and guarding him smartly, not letting him get to the cup.
Yeah.
He can match up with any of 5 positions defensively, and he has improved as a three-point shooter like nothing we've seen. He can score in the post.
Yeah.
Is he a shot creator? No.
Well, he's not a playmaker.
No, but that's not what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to go win his games, and he winning games. He's awesome. They're better because they said, DeMar DeRozan, you're really, really good, but you can't make threes, and there's a limit to who you can guard defensively. Let's go get a better player. That's why they were willing to get rid of DeMar DeRozan, who's an all-star, to get a superstar. Kawhi Leonard is a superstar. Is he verbal enough? Not with you and me. He's not entertaining enough. But you know what? He's verbal enough to win the NBA Finals MVP. Hell, let's just be honest. They should have beaten the Miami Heat twice if they make a free throw. Right? If Ray Allen doesn't make the corner 3, we're talking 2 Spurs championships, and he's at least the Finals MVP for one of them, maybe 2 of them.
You know, we always take players and we compare them to somebody. I'm going to give you 2 players that Kawhi is like. The first one, I think you'll agree with, Alex English. They didn't sweat. I don't think Alex English sweat in 20 years. He played. He was quiet. He's the best free throw angle shooter I've ever seen. You look up and you're like, Alex English had 36 tonight. And had some playoff success without the title. The second one is the hand size, the cut, the physicality. There is a little... I was going to say he's a better pure shooter than Scotty.
Yeah,
he's got a little Michael in him, a little bit. He's got a little Michael Jordan where Michael was the best mid-range player I've ever seen. Kawhi's becoming the best mid-range player he and Durant I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean they're amazing.
They're just amazing.
Big hands. I wouldn't. You know, I've seen other people people forget that Michael Jordan was a guard. Kawhi was a center when he was in high school, and every year he's developed his perimeter game more. Yes, Michael developed his perimeter jump shot and also developed the post game. You know, look, I don't know. I don't think he's like Jordan. I think some of the things that these guys do is Jordan-esque and taking over games late, where you know what's coming and there's nothing you can do to stop them.
Yeah,
they're basically playing without a point guard. Right? None of their point guards have been any good at all. And recently, if you have a guy who can't make shots and can't get stops at the point guard position, you're screwed in the NBA. And the Raptors are still up, 2-1 in this series? Or
no, it's 2-2 headed to Toronto.
2-2, but it feels
like Toronto's got a real edge here.
It feels like Kawhi's the best player, Joel Embiid's the most talented player, Ben Simmons is being completely taken out of the game, and the Raptors that's not a very good team without Kawhi Leonard.
Okay, so I got a minute and a half, and I want you to answer this. 4 good players for the Sixers. If they lose this series, they're not all re-signing big contracts. Yes. If I told you, pick 2 going forward, who are your 2?
I mean, it just depends on the health on Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's maybe the most talented big guy to ever play the game. But the health thing, you and I discussed it last week. It's hard to buy into. But then Jimmy Butler, does anybody actually want to play with him?
All their guys have an issue.
Yeah, I mean, Tobias Harris is great, but was he great as an alpha or is he great as their 4th best player?
He's a 3rd, 4th best guy.
Right, and then you got Ben Simmons, who work ethic is always in question. Will he? Can he? Does he have any desire to actually shoot the basketball?
So his work ethic is in question.
Some, yeah. Like you've been in the league. He hasn't been in the league for a long time, but you've been in the league a little bit. Like, can you develop? And then the Kardashian thing makes people think, kind of like James Harden. Remember when James Harden was dating a Kardashian?
Yeah,
he came in a little bit out of shape, and now he's in the best shape of his life, and he's the best offensive player maybe in the league.
No, I remember when he came out and he said, "I'm bailing on this. My basketball game's deteriorating." And you're like, okay, he chose the right exit off the freeway. No, it's funny on this because I keep saying, short term and be your answer. But, man, when I hear bad knees, bad diet, calling a coach at 6 a.m., and I'm like, man, that's a lot of maintenance. That's a lot of maintenance, Doug.
Yeah, but if you saw him when he played in Game 3, you'd be like,
no, he's
worth the maintenance.
No, I mean,
right?
listen, there is a Shaq thing here.
It's not just Shaq. Like, listen, if Shaq could shoot, if Shaq could handle, if Shaq could guard in the perimeter, and look, his work ethic's called into question. He needs to lose 20 pounds. He needs to have a dietitian with him. He needs to have a body guy with him. He needs to treat it like, look, if I'm a superstar, I can't. He needs what Dirk Nowitzki took 2 hours to get him ready to play every game this year.
Yeah.
He needs to handle his body just like that, even though he's in his early 20s. If he does, he could be the greatest big guy we've ever seen, and there have been a lot of great big guys. He's that talented a player.
Good stuff, Doug Gottlieb, the Duggar Fox Sports Radio. After our show on the radio network, Hour 2, Chris Broussard, Rick Bucher, Greg Jennings. It's The Herd.
They defend their title on the world's biggest stage. Alex Morgan and Megan Rapinoe lead the U.S. women's national team in the send-off series. Goal for the United States! USA South Africa, Sunday at 4:30 Eastern on Fox. Sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer.
Is it too late to... Never mind. It's fine.
Anyone can stick a lime in a beer. At Sam Adams, we brew with lime, plus lemon, orange zest, summer wheat, and winds of paradise. For a new, lighter, and brighter summer ale. Sorry, Lime Wedge. We've got this. Sam Adams Summer Ale.
How do you think they make Starburst taste so juicy?
Starburst? Juice Drag equation. Super top secret mathematical formula they keep stored inside a safe, inside a vault, inside a volcano.
Oh, Juice Drags.
Starburst, unexplainably juicy.
I've got an idea. Ooh, what is it? What if we give the people iPhone XR when they join T-Mobile?
For a limited time, join T-Mobile and get the awesome iPhone XR on us.
April 18th is National Piñata Day, but you don't need to put on a blindfold and hit a papier-mâché unicorn to get stuff you want. Just become an AARP member. Your AARP membership comes with access to more of what you want, like learning about the latest tech, health tips, nights out at local restaurants, help planning your getaways, and more. So take off the blindfold and join today, because, you know, it's easier without the blindfold. There's lots of stuff in there, and today could be your day to explore it. Learn more at aarp.org/more.
You think this chip is nothing to worry about? Well, sooner or later, every chip will crack. So bring it to SafeLight. We can repair it the same day, guaranteed. Plus, with most insurance, it's no cost to you.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
Hi, I'm Christina Stumble, and I founded Farm Girl Flowers. What started at my dining room table has grown into a serious operation. That's why I chose the Spark Cash Card from Capital One. With unlimited 2% cash back on everything I buy, why wouldn't I get this card? I redeemed $115,000 in cash back in just 1 year, which doubled our marketing budget last summer. And I saw 69% growth year over year. My Spark Card is more than a credit card. It actually helps me grow my business. What's in your wallet?
Did you know with Vanishing Deductible, you can earn $100 off your deductible for every year of safe driving? Sing that.
Vanishing Deductible. You can earn $100 off deductible.
For every year of safe driving.
For every year of safe driving.
What do you put key?
E?
No, put G.
G will be too high.
Not for me.
Vanishing Deductible.
Sweet.
Here's how Old Dominion puts together a winning performance. It takes precision, like how we're #1 in claims prevention. It takes hustle, like our over 99% on-time rate. And it takes consistently going the distance to earn our fans' loyalty. That's why we're number one in customer satisfaction. Old Dominion, official freight carrier of Major League Baseball.
If Old Spice Sweat Defense helps keep me feeling dry, how will they know I worked hard? I've got to make stuff harder. Damn, that's hard.
At the Valvoline Engine Lab, we put our products and ideas to the test. Every additive, booster, detergent, and seal conditioner gets tested right here to prove it's good to go in your engine. And worthy of the name, Valvoline. Trusted for 150 years.
This is the Durabit of the all-new Chevy Silverado. That is huge. It offers a built-in 120-volt outlet. Wow. Plug that in for me.
Whoa, holy smoke.
And the all-new Silverado has more trim levels than any other pickup.
Oh, wow. There's something for all of us.
It's time to upgrade. Get 0% financing for 72 months on this all-new Silverado, or get a total value of over $9,000 when you finance with GM Financial. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Hi, I'm Kristen Cavallari. Are the sexy singles at Paradise Hotel competing for love or the money?
I'm definitely here for love.
I'm moving into Paradise Hotel for that check.
Paradise Hotel, hosted by Kristen Cavallari, Thursday on Fox.
The undefeated champs with Jarrett Hurd, top contender Julia Fox.
I said, fell out on his phone. No preacher. That's what you told me. You told me 2 times we woke up and this was years ago.
And freaked out. I be telling everybody, if you're like, Pusha used to be crazy as shit back in the day. She was a bad bitch. She was a bad little bunny. You wouldn't believe it, but that bitch was a bad little bunny back in the day. And it'd be like, well, if Risha's still not ugly, she can go fix her stomach out. And fuck that, because I be fighting welfare. Fuck all of that. I don't give a fuck. Every time I get a raise at my job, they don't know about me doing home welfare because I just started that, but they won't know, and I don't give a fuck until my 6 months is due. They won't know. Every time. I be like, this shit, no fuck all that. I don't give a fuck what kind of raise I get.
Here we go, hour 2. Loaded in LA. This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening. We're live on iHeartRadio, on Fox Sports Radio and FS1, also Sirius XM Channel 83. Joy Taylor is joining me for hour 2, the rest of the way. Joy, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. I'm not a, you ever seen during the NBA season, everybody has their power rankings.
Right.
I'm not really a power ranking guy, although I do herd hierarchy during the NFL season. But the NBA season is very long. It didn't last forever. So, but I'm going to do my, what's the date today? What's the date today? May 7th. I'm going to do my NBA power ratings. There's 8 teams left in the NBA. These are my NBA power ratings today, and I think you have 3 clear groups. Golden State 1, Houston 2, and Milwaukee 3. Okay, so Golden State is the best team in the NBA. And they're the champions. And then you have Houston is the best challenger. And then Milwaukee appears to be just as good as it gets in the Eastern Conference. Defense, offense, star coaching. And then so you got Golden State 1, you got Houston 2, and you got Milwaukee as a number 3. That they feel those are excellent basketball teams, capable of winning the title, although I like Houston, Golden State, probably more than Milwaukee to win the title. Then I think you have the next 4. They are very, very good teams, but they all have a flaw. I would put them Sixers, Toronto, Denver, and Portland. They're inches, not feet away. Sixers, Ben Simmons can't shoot. I'm not sure Simmons and Embiid work together, and Embiid's sick. Toronto's sort of a one-man team. So is Denver. Portland I like a lot. They got a lot of guys that can get you buckets. But there are some limitations of Lillard isn't scorching hot. And then number 8 is the Boston Celtics. And I was wrong. I thought they turned it around, and they have been a 4-seed, disjointed, drama-filled, underachieving mess. They're a mess. I can make an argument that all 7 teams above them feel good this morning. Golden State saying, listen, we almost sent 2 games into overtime, and the refs let them mug us. Houston feels like, hey, you know what? We got the chance where we want it. Milwaukee's like, listen, we got a 3-1 lead, series over, we're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Sixers are like, hey, if Embiid's not 6, if Embiid isn't sick, we got a 3-1 lead in the series heading to Toronto. Toronto feels like it's 2-2, we're headed back home. Denver's like, hey, 2-2 headed back home, and they don't have an answer for Jokic, and Jamal Murray's playing the best basketball of his career, and Portland still feels like, hey, we won in Denver the first time, we'll win in Denver again. If you're Boston this morning, where's the good news?
You are down on the Celtics today.
No, I mean, I admit it. I'm wrong on this. I kept saying, don't get caught up in the seeding. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals. They'll get their drama figured out, and they just can't. And the coach doesn't work with a star, and the star doesn't work with others. I mean, Gordon Hayward, what is Gordon Hayward now? Like, what do you get on a nightly basis with Gordon Hayward?
Sometimes you can have too much. Maybe they just have too much. They have a lot of guys that need the ball in their hands to make plays.
Shaq and Barkley.
You can have too much of one thing.
I mean, I think it falls on Kyrie. You want to be the man. Shaq and Barkley called out Kyrie last night. I don't feel good about the Celtics. Here it is.
You can't complain about not being a man. Ask to be the man now that you are the man. You got to step up. This is the time you got to step up. I don't want to hit no screen. I don't want to hit none of it. You shoot 22 times, better hit more than 7 shots in the playoffs.
So I don't want to share the limelight with LeBron. I want my own team. Now, this is the price you pay. That's the way it works. People never say, man, Mark West didn't win the championship. They never said Ceballos didn't win the championship. But I love both of those guys. They said Charles Barkley didn't win the championship. That's the way it is. And that's what Kyrie, he says, I want to be my own man. And now you're your own man who's going on vacation Thursday morning.
Yeah, I bought into this Celtic team. You gave me a smart coach, a smart star, a good team, a good GM. I figured they'd just kind of figure it out. And they didn't, and they're dead, and Milwaukee's better, and Milwaukee makes every basket tough, and Milwaukee has the better bench, and it's over. I mean, there's no question watching this series. After Game 1, Milwaukee's deeper, better, more fluid. They play together. The guys work together, and their bench was great last night. Let me shift to this. There is a story this morning that Golden State is now prioritizing signing Klay Thompson. Stephen Clay's the future. That they've come to terms with what Kevin Durant is. A brilliant basketball nomad. A vagabond. There's always been that saying, guys say this, you date some, you marry others. Some you date, some you marry. By the way, both can be great. But there are relationships that feel like it would last a long time. And then relationships, it's fun. And let's say Kevin Durant bolts, exits, leaves. If you were the Warriors and you never won another title, but you had Stephen Clay, which are the Jerry West, Gail Goodrich of this generation, the best backcourt, best offensive backcourt in basketball. They're going to be for 10 years or more. You'd still be in the record books. You'd still have the titles. You'd have arguably your 2 or 3 most beloved players. They both play the style of basketball going forward that works, which is a bunch of threes. They seem to like each other. Clay doesn't talk much. Steph does, but is likable. I think the Bay Area is fine with it. I think sometimes you just have to realize that not everybody is built long-term. I've worked with employees. I've worked with people, and you're not going to build around them. They're just not built around personalities. They're just talented. They're just gifted. But you wouldn't build your franchise around him. Like Tim Duncan, Larry Bird, Steph Curry. I think Kobe, you plant a flag with those guys. Kobe's a businessman. The Lakers were his business real estate, and he didn't want to give it up. And he got the bigness of the brand. The Laker brand was still strong, and you build around Kobe. Kevin Durant's different. Different time. More of a vagabond. More of a nomad. More of a wanderer. That's personality. By the way, even if KD leaves, the Warriors' KD Facebook page is awesome. It's got pictures of trophies. It's got pictures of parades. It's an awesome Facebook page. But this summer, his status on the Facebook page, it will suddenly go to single. And that's okay. That happens too. But I go back to what Marcus Thompson said about a month ago on our show. His personality, he is for sale. He can be swayed over a martini. Pre-dinner, post-dinner, he's a different guy. Here was Marcus Thompson.
I'm not buying that at the last moment he's sitting at a meeting with somebody and he can't be swayed. Either way, it's a stay or go. Because
that's his personality.
Yeah. He could think it's done right now, whether that's staying or going. I still think later on, like, he can be swayed. Like, he's a guy, he feels everything. He sits in the room. He's present. He's got to weigh this stuff. We still have 3 or 4 more series if they win a championship of data to insert into this equation, right? Like, I don't know if even if he thinks he knows the answer, I don't think he knows the answer. I'm not buying it.
And I think because of that personality type, don't deny it, embrace it, that he's probably, do you want to go through this every year? LeBron's a little bit like this. LeBron kind of, you can change his mind. He gets bored. He's kind of restless. That's okay. I mean, LeBron and KD are the best 2 basketball players in the world. They got a bunch of options. And we also have to realize the culture has changed. AAU basketball, it used to be everybody played high school basketball. You were loyal to a team. And then all these players that are in the NBA now, almost all of them now that Garnett's gone and Kobe's gone, now all these guys played AAU basketball, where you were up for sale. You just went, joined your buddies and played. And then you went to college for 1 year and you weren't really loyal to college. And then you go to the NBA and LeBron's like, why don't we have more power? The basketball culture that exists in America today is different. I'm not blaming the players. But it used to be you went to high school and you were loyal to one high school. And you played on Friday night high school game with a band. Now you play AAU on Saturday. Your services are for sale. Who wants me? The team in Atlanta, the team in San Diego, the team in Detroit, the team in Indianapolis. Who wants my services? That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And then you go to college, and it's like, okay, Max Krzyzewski, I've got the power. You just get me for 1 year. I'm not loyal. 1 year, Mr. Calipari. And then go to the NBA, and it's like, after my first contract, I'm going to Bolton. It's okay. Steph and Clay, maybe even Draymond. Those are your guys. The Facebook page, with Kevin Durant, if he leaves, it's still parades and trophies and smiles and laughs. It's all good. You're just going to move to single this summer. It's okay. It happens all the time. Coming up next, Chris Broussard will be joining us. Greg Jennings later this hour. Some interesting NFL news. The countdown to Mother's Day next Sunday, May 12th, is officially on. Your mom has that mom radar. She knows when you're really engaged and thoughtful, and she knows when you're faking it. Now is not the time to buy her a gift 6 hours before Mother's Day. Why don't you get it done now? 24 multicolored roses. Yes, 24 multicolored roses. And a free vase. $29.99. Get that at 1-800-Flowers.com today. Beat the Mother's Day rush. These are a beautiful mix of premium roses, rainbow of colors, okay? Get their peak from Premier Farms and shipped overnight always to ensure freshness. That's why this company endures at 1-800-Flowers. 24 beautiful multicolored roses, rainbow of colors, and a free vase. $29.99. Great offer. Now, this offer, you got about 2 days on this. It expires Thursday. Make mom feel loved. 1-800-Flowers.com. Radio icon, upper right side. Put in the code HERD, H-E-R-D. This offer ends Thursday. 24 multicolored roses. 1-800-Flowers.com. Code HERD.
Chase Elliott is climbing the ranks of NASCAR's elite, one race at a time. Monster Energy Cup Series racing from Kansas, Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on FS1.
The time of my life, and
the most delicious union of all time ends this Sunday. Get chicken and waffles before they're gone at KFC.
Look at that. Sustainable wild caught or responsibly farmed. And now at a lower price. Oh, confetti.
Wandering through secret hills and telling stories round the grill. From lazing out on peaceful docks to raging to a band that rocks. You never know just where in life Corona cans might take you now.
Really? Man, this is what I feel like when I wear regular shoes. Cramped and uncomfortable.
We can arrange a little upgrade.
Which is why I wear Skechers wide fit shoes. They have extra room throughout. They're like a luxury ride for my feet. Try Skechers wide fit shoes.
I was driving home through torrential rain when my car was swept into a flash flood.
Why Carey chose Verizon.
And I scrambled up this really big tree, and I knew my wife wouldn't know what's going to happen to me. So I video chat her, and I said, yeah, I'm up in a tree. After about 5 hours, a lot of phone calls with emergency services, they sent a helicopter, picked me up to safety. This network, that giant tree, saved my life.
The network more people rely on gives you more. Like Unlimited with Apple Music always included. And one of our best phones when you buy another. That's Verizon.
Imagine a financial partner fully invested in your success. Someone with a personal interest in helping you reach your goals, wherever they might take you. You and Baird. Imagine where we can go together. Visit Baird100.com.
Tonight, you landed enough Wyndham Rewards points to land in that oh-so-alluring place in your screensaver.
See you soon, Hamlet.
Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you triumph.
Want to know why they call her the finisher? Because she's the last thing they'll see before it's too late.
No, my goddaughter bring me that puppy from Pittsburgh for Christmas. That's my favorite. I was like, Mom, what you did, man? I said, yeah, I did. She wants to come out with me so bad, but she wants me to go out with her because I was like, dude, we did 21 for a party, but she did 20 plus her, and I still ain't go out and party with her yet. When I told her yesterday, she was at my house for a while. She was talking about what you making me, bitch. I ain't gonna do shit. I ain't put the foot on place in the window. Oh, because you ain't ignorant, I thought, yeah. So,
she wanted to come out, huh?
Yeah, she wanted me to cheat. I told her yesterday, she said, what are you doing tomorrow, Mom? I said, I don't know, because I was going to go see this one nigga, but he just, I don't know. He just irks me. He just, I don't know. He's just too clingy. And I'm not, he's too clingy. What's wrong with that?
Not like so clean, like everything gotta be.
No, not clingy. Like
clingy.
Cousin Seth, Todd Furman, Clay Travis, and me, Rachel Bonetta, get together. All bets are on. Lock it in is the all-new one-of-a-kind sports gambling show. Weekdays at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
I say this on my show all the time to all young broadcasters. Chase good management, not money. There's a sea of money if you're talented. There's not a sea of great management. Chase good management. I think Durant would be making a massive mistake leaving Golden State. It's basketball heaven. And all I hear from Kevin Durant, all I care about is I want to play ball. It's the best place in the world to play ball. If you ask LeBron James this morning, you could go up to San Francisco and trade places with Kevin Durant. He'd do it in three seconds. Don't believe words. Believe people's actions. His words are, I don't care, just ball. I don't care about you. I don't listen to the fans. I don't listen to criticism. His actions, if he leaves, are, I'm seeking approval. I'm going to show you who's you. You're the best basketball player right now in the world. He is better than LeBron James. Right today, this morning, he's a better player than LeBron. Not saying his resume. He's a better defensive player. He's a better offensive player. He's healthier. I think he's playing the best basketball of his career and probably has 3 to 4 really high-end years left. You make a list from Brett Favre, Packers to Jets. Make a list, Albert Pujols, Cardinals to Angels. When you go to a list of players, regardless of their talent, and regardless how they left, traded, free agency, when you go from a great organization to a shaky one, it never works. Saban, LSU to the Dolphins, didn't work. It doesn't. Spurrier, Florida, kingpin in the SEC, Redskins, disaster. Kevin would be doing everything he claims he doesn't care about. He would be seeking approval.
Francisco Lindor leads the Indians as the Tribe takes on Chris Davis and the Oakland A's. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern on FS1 or on the Fox Sports app.
A lot of people think Lindor is a top 1 or 2 baseball player in the world right now. Great arm, great range, hit with power. Unbelievable. Okay, Chris Broussard, Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. You're fired up, former New York Times sports writer, grew up in Ohio. All right. Okay, there's a lot of rumors about KD and Kyrie to the Knicks. If you're a Knicks fan and you're watching the Celtics last night, don't you kind of feel like we got our guy?
No question. No, Kyrie doesn't fit into what they do, right? They want to play egalitarian type basketball.
Yes.
He's an ISO celebrity superstar, and it's just not the greatest fit. And now you didn't go, and look, the East is so much better than it was last year. So I understand. Milwaukee was not half as good as they are now. That's who you struggled with to beat last year in the first round. Philadelphia wasn't half as good as it is now. You beat them in the second round. So that Boston team was overrated because they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. However, the young kids who were there, Tatum, Brown, Rozier, they still feel like they're going to feel like we got further without Kyrie. Right? We got first. So
that resentment's hovering around that locker room.
No question. And so that's how they're going to feel. So it's a perfect time. I said last time I was on the show, Toronto's making it easy for Kawhi to leave. It's the perfect situation for Kyrie to leave. Now, remember, Boston wasn't on his list when he told Cleveland he wanted out to begin with. New York was, and I think you disagree, but Kyrie and Durant would be a great tandem in New York.
Let me just throw this at you. There's an old saying, Joey, you've heard this as well. Don't go to the supermarket when you're starving, because you end up getting home to have dinner and you have Reese's Cups and Doritos Ranch Chips. You'll make bad decisions. Starving equals desperation, and you make bad choices. So the Knicks were desperate and then gave Amari Stoudemire a 5-year deal with those bad knees. Nobody else would. And then they were desperate and traded away everybody to get Carmelo. Nobody else would. And Knick fans lectured us on how smart they were. And the Amari Melo deals were not good deals. Right. They're a starving franchise here. The Knicks are, don't go to the supermarket when you're hungry because you end up with Reese's Cups and nothing to make for dinner. Kyrie Irving.
Okay, you're not saying that about Durant.
No,
Okay, Durant is filet mignon. Right.
Okay, Durant's great. Kyrie Irving, hurt at Duke, hurt a lot. Hard to coach, ISO player. By the way, Durant played with a ball-centric guard in Oklahoma City and got tired of it.
Where I will give you a little something is the injury history of Kyrie. However, it's not like Amari Stoudemire. He's fine this year. He's playing his whole year. He looks good. And there are other, like Stoudemire, nobody else is going to give him a long-term max deal like the Knicks did. There are other teams that would sign Kyrie in a second. The Clippers, the Celtics, like everybody, he's not as damaged goods, if you will, as Amari Stoudemire was. So it's a little something in the back of your mind, but it certainly wouldn't stop me. And he's not Russell Westbrook in terms of
he's also a better shooter.
He's a better shooter. He plays smarter. You know, he's more of a point guard, even though he's not like a true point guard. He's certainly more of a point guard than Westbrook. And if Durant could succeed, and they did succeed, I know they didn't win a championship, but he and Westbrook had success. If he can have success playing alongside Westbrook, he can fit with Kyrie. On the other end, Kyrie is a number 2. We see it clearly. We've seen it all year. We're seeing it in the playoffs. He's a stone-cold killer. He may be your closer, but he's a number 2. And most guys historically who've been his size are number 2s.
They don't want to admit it.
I can name that Isaiah Thomas, the legend, and Steph Curry. Other than that, who was a number 1 that size that was going to lead me to a championship?
No, I think it's very fair. 6'4" and under guys. Steph's an outlier. Isaiah's an outlier. Let's go to the Rocket series. Listen, I know Houston feels good about themselves. They got the champs tied up. But if I'm Golden State and I look at how we played, and we shot 24% on threes, and Klay Thompson and Iggy were bad, our bench gave us nothing, and we came within an open jumper of tying it to overtime, I feel great if I'm the Warriors today.
I don't feel great. I get where you're coming from. They can look at Clay's due. We know Clay's going to catch fire. Steph was due, right?
Steph and Claire both do.
I told people and Steph played well last night. I know he had his moments where he disappeared, but he 30 points, 12 for 25 shooting, so he was good. Steph or Clay is due. I get what you're saying. However, I don't think either of these teams has an advantage at this point. I don't want to hear about the Golden State's home court. Okay, yeah, whatever. They lost twice to the Clippers at home. Okay, they can be beaten in Oracle. So I'm looking at this like I think it's a pick'em. This series is now. I picked the Warriors, and I'm sticking with my pick of the Warriors. But I won't be the least bit surprised if Houston gets.
By the way, a lot of fans out here, they're tired of the Warriors. So you want the next great champion to be the Floppy McFlopsters.
Let me say, well, I'm glad you brought that up. I want the Warriors because I picked them. You know how we are. We want our picks to be right.
Right.
I am different from most NBA fans. I love watching James Harden play. I know everybody, he over dribbles. Yeah, but he doesn't over dribble like most. When LeBron over he's on the wing, pounding for 10 seconds just to pound it, not going anywhere. When Dwayne Wade would over dribble, he'd be dribbling all over the court. Where am I going to make my move at? Harden is dribbling with a purpose. Between the legs, behind the back, feint, slides, to get you. And how am I going to get by you? Am I going to step back? His over dribbling is fun to watch. I was watching that last night. 7 times this dude had me falling out of my chair. Kevin Looney, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, all good defenders, all athletic, all long. And this slow dude gets off a shot and hits a 3 over a 7-footer with outstretched arms. I mean, he's unbelievable.
He is an unbelievable talent.
I love watching him.
Okay. He can wear me out.
I convinced you.
Listen, I don't hate Houston. They really, listen, what they're doing is analytic. Get to the free throw line. I don't think all dynasties are fascinating. I've said this about college football. USC dynasty and the Miami Hurricanes dynasty were great for college football. Bama and Clemson, especially Bama, can be a little boring.
Right.
They shut everybody down. It's not that like Spurs Duncan dynasty. Houston, there's a sense of manipulation in this process that I think wears out a lot of people.
I don't want this to be the future of basketball.
That's what I'm saying. They've already shot 55 more threes than the Warriors.
Think about the Warriors, who are the best shooting team in history.
Yeah. I mean, Clint Capella's a good player. They can't get him on the floor in the series, and I like the layers of basketball. Let me shift to this. People think I don't like Kawhi Leonard. I do. Basketball has a history. There's 2 types of stars. There's the playmakers, Magic, LeBron, Steph. On their best nights, the team flourishes. Then there's isolation guys, KD, MJ, Kobe Bryant. Kawhi's got a feeling like that. Kawhi doesn't pass.
MJ, you don't want that? His team didn't flourish when he was in his best.
No, but what I'm saying is...
You shouldn't have put MJ in there.
Well, if MJ had 50, they were often better when he had 30. Like, certain guys are get-a-bucket guys. They're not playmakers. Kawhi's a get-a-bucket guy. Do you know the Warriors have a losing record when Durant scores over 40?
Yep.
And I'm not saying Kawhi's not great, but he does feel sometimes like he's just getting points for Kawhi.
Here's where I'm going to disagree with you. All those guys you mentioned, Kawhi, Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, they could fit into a system. Kawhi makes other players better because, number one, he's going to give you 30 or some odd points. He's going to play great defense, and he's going to do it within the system, which means he doesn't take away, and he's going to do it efficiently. Shooting 62% in this series, he's over 50%. He's going to do it efficiently, which means I don't have to take a ton of shots to get my points, and I do it within the system, so I'm not taking away from your starter. LeBron is obviously, a better player historically than Kawhi, but LeBron becomes the system. LeBron makes average players who can't really do much on their own much better. Kyle Korver, Shane Battier, and old Ray Allen. Guys like that. Did he make Chris Bosh better? Did he make Dwayne Wade better? Did he make Kyrie Irving better? He's so good that you'll be in position to do what you do and shine at the type on the finals. But he doesn't make those guys better. He becomes the system and dominates the ball, and he's a willing passer and a great passer.
Hoping and praying one day she's going to appreciate me. No, I'm not doing that. Every time I see me in trouble, no voice for that.
And as it goes out of bounds, Houston able to keep the ball. the Rockets now. They trail by 1. Here's Malone. Falls back and drains the fadeaway jumper. Malone's got 12 points in just the second half. Here's Stackhouse. Kicks to Williams. 14 feet away, and he hits the button. Williams has got 5 points now in the quarter. Guys, what a game. 8 lead changes here.
And don't be surprised if it comes down to the last possession.
Inside, intercepted. Stackhouse up top. That drops, and it comes over an assist from Williams. And the Raptors lead by 3.
He wants the ball. They want him to have the ball. And as usual, he comes through.
Here's Wilkins. Malone trying to break free. Pasadena is good. He's now 8 for 14.
Nice job getting inside for the layup. Got to be thinking jump shot. Gave a little mistake. And then off to the races.
Here's Stackhouse. No hit on the triple.
I'm shocked that it didn't turn into 3 points. I mean, he makes you pay on those really seconds.
1:29 left in the fourth. To the inside. Stolen by Wilkins. And it's Houston on the break. And they call the foul, so a chance in the line for one more coming up.
And you might not have expected to go for the steal, but boy, oh boy, did that ever work out.
Jimmy Butler, who's checked in for Jerry Stackhouse. The free throw drops for Drexler.
As confident as he gets at the line. He wants to be up there in the tight ball game.
Toronto trailing. There's 1:17 left in the fourth quarter, and the shot goes down.
And Butler, no stranger to these pressure situations. A big-time gamer who knows how to take over on key possessions.
Now here's Kidd. Here's Malone. Over off the back of the run. Williams to Griffin. Over Wilkins. And it's Griffin missing. And here are the Rockets now. Now the feed to Wilkins. Yes!
That is cold-blooded.
Tune in, don't you? This is what they're tuning into. Big moment.
Toronto calls timeout. They're trailing by 2. There's 45 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And now a moment to take a look at our Jordan player of the game.
It's a take-charge brand of basketball he's been playing tonight. This point total tells you all you need to know about just how good he's been. And once he got going, their game plan really became simple. Just get him the ball. And what a day on the glass for a guy who's given up a lot of size out on the floor.
And it goes out of bounds. That one on Butler.
So close to getting the steal there, but the deflection equally as effective.
Oh, man. Read it all the way. We got to jump on it. Very close.
32 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Here's Bennett, covered by Brand. It's good.
Just terrific determination. First, compiling the lead, and now building on it.
Oh, man, and this is late in the game. It's tough for a team to come back. Everything has to fall into place.
And the Raptors call time here. They're down by 4. 23 seconds left in the fourth. What's your take, guys?
And they're going to have to score. Quick foul. Can't waste any time here.
Well, it's a lot to talk about in this huddle. They'll also have to decide who they'll want to foul.
Here's Gervin. And he has brought them to within 2 points.
Defensive rebounding, just such a crucial part of the game.
I'll tell you what it's like. Football. 3rd and 13 and running off the gut. It just frustrates the defense. They hate giving up second chance points. It's demoralizing. After basically, I mean, you had to stop.
15 seconds left in the game.
they have a chance to tie it up.
They got to be looking for a 3 here, guys.
How about the determination? Now that's what we call competing for a rebound.
And there's the intentional foul. No choice but to stop the clock here.
You have the foul, but I'm sure they would have liked to foul someone different.
So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 5-point game.
Well, that's what I call cool under fire. Those should be the nails in the coffin.
Stolen by Drexler. So we see the Rockets get the win here. This was a hard-fought, well-earned victory for them, Greg. They really had to work for this win.
That's a good point. I mean, weaker teams might have buckled at the end, but the crowd amped up, everyone in the building kind of rooting against you.
Oh, you already, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Anytime you put you in house arrest, you're paying to be stuck in home and still move on their times. It's jail outside of jail. That's all fucking it is. Right.
I mean, if you get, I don't know. But, nah, this shit we have sound like a fucking rodeo, yo. Hello, how are you? Tell him I always ask about it.
Yeah, he was just asking about me. I was like, she's still whitish. No, I was in the hairdresser, but we did pull up one with the sheet and Lincoln though once. We did pull up one with the sheet and Lincoln one time.
times when I'm flipping, sipping, car dipping, redwood rain ripping, still tipping on 4-4, on 4-12, and 4-roll, and 4. GameCube, Nintendo, 5% tint, so you can't see up in my window. Don't understand me, cause I'm boss hog on top down at Maxis with a big handy. Creased up, stand dressed to impress. Big boss Bill Buckle under my Michelin S.O. Gucci shades up on my braids when I escalade. When I'm riding spree wheel sliding like a escapade. I got it made, the big boss of the North. Ain't change, I still represent Swisher House.
Turn your neck and your dang missing. Me and Slim, we ain't tripping. I'm figure flipping. Sipping like do or die, I'm cold. Car stop, rim speed spinning. I'm flipping drop with a bit of the top. Bop with my drop, step out. I'm shaking the block with 418. Candy green with 11 screens. My gasoline always supreme. Got the brand with a painter. King taste grinding to be a king. First round drop piece coming. Who is Mike Jones coming? Slap shining with the grill and warm.
I just put that cigarette over here. Yeah, I just put the cigarette and watched it.
Some friends and some phony. Back then, didn't want me. Now I'm hot, fall on me. Back then, didn't want me. Now I'm hot, fall on me. Back then, didn't want me. Now I'm hot, fall on me. Back then, didn't want me. Now I'm hot, fall on me.
Might be. It might be so good. Talking about other people that we watch, okay? And what's that name? It might be. Ain't nobody be, you know what's gonna be.
What it do is Power Wild, I'm the people's champ. My chain light up like a lamp, cause now I'm back with the camp. I'm crawling similar to an ant, cause I'm low to the earth. People's feelings get hurt. When they figure out what I'm worth, I got 84s poking out. At the club, I'm showing out. I'm a player, ain't no doubt. But you wanna know what I'm about? Biggest diamonds off in my mouth. Princess cuts all in my chain. Wood grain all in my range. Dripping stains when I switch lanes. Switch the name, it's still the same. Switch a house or switch a blast. Mike Jones, he won in the game and magnificent by this cash. Michael Watts, he made me hot. Hard work to me to the top. G-Dash to me to the lot. He wrote a check and bought a drop. I got the internet going nuts. But T-Ferris got my back, so now I'm holding my Power Wild, baby. What you know about me? I'm on that 5-9 South Lee, baby. Holla at me.
But I'm the father of the year and see it. I'm here.
the 2K Sports pregame show.